You're listening to the Open Books Podcast.
Your next chapter starts now.
Is it love, 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 love that I'm feeling? Is it love, 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 love that I'm feeling? Is she the one?
Welcome back to the Open Books Podcast. Before we dive into this week's episode, we have a major announcement. If you've been following us on social media this week, then you already know that we are giving away a brand new, seriously, hasn't even been taken out of the box, Kindle Paperwhite. Colby, who is our winner?
I'm so excited to give away this Kindle. Like Amber said, we have been teasing this on our socials for a long time. Okay, not that long, like a week or so.
It's been about a week though.
Yeah, but we've had so many people enter and say like so many nice things about the podcast. So we're so grateful for that.
I think our hearts grew 3 sizes.
They literally grew 3 sizes. We're so grateful to every single person who entered, left a nice comment, shared the post. There will be more of these to come, absolutely. So we just wanted to like preface this giveaway by saying thank you so much.
Seriously, like the support has been overwhelming.
Yeah, and y'all, like every single like, comment, share helps us in the podcast so much because we've been doing this for 2 years. And
2 years.
That's a long time that we've been self-producing our podcast, like putting so much passion and love into it. So we wanted to give back to the people who actually interact with us, comment, make us able to keep doing it.
Yeah, we really truly love it so much. And you know, when your girlies can buy more than one Kindle,
We're giving them
them all away to you.
So the winner of our giveaway is
Drum roll, please.
Christina Butler.
Yay!
So we will DM you, Christina Butler, to claim your prize. Congratulations.
Yay!
We couldn't be more happy to give you this Kindle. And again, thank you to everybody who entered.
Congratulations. What if your roommate had a secret and it wasn't just some dirty ass dishes in the sink?
First of all, so
Bitch.
aggravating. Like, clean your dishes.
Put your dishes away. Like, it's so gross. This week on the Open Books Podcast, we're breaking down The Tenant by Frieda McFadden. This was a twisty, fast-paced thriller where everyone's got something to hide. From unreliable narrators to locked doors and missing memories. We're asking, who can you really trust when your home becomes the crime scene?
Yeah,
Let's
there
do it.
really is so many secrets in this story, and that they said, like, every character has,
Something.
they're holding on to something. So if you've read this book with us, I, of course, am going to give a summary to refresh. If you've not read this book and you're here because of the giveaway, or you're just here to kiki with us and shoot the shit and get, like, a fun little movie in your ear, I always give you a summary and a really, like, in-depth breakdown of the book. Again, we love Frieda. This was one that was very anticipated, so as always, if the summary is missing some key details, don't you get mad at me. It's just because there's a lot to cover in all of these books.
She can't read the whole book to us.
No, that would be ours. Here's the summary of The Tenant by Frieda McFadden. Our main narrator is Blake Porter. He is a successful VP of marketing in Manhattan. In the beginning of the book, he had just gotten promoted to that position. He's engaged to a beautiful girl named Krista Marshall and living in the Upper West Side in their brownstone. Blake and Krista seem to have it all. They're a happy, young, good-looking couple living in New York. They're happy and cheesy with each other, always being lovey-dovey. Blake raves about Krista and the amazing homemade cookies she always makes for him. They're a really cute couple. But suddenly, Blake's life is flipped upside down when he's at work one day enjoying his big new office when his boss calls him in and fires him in front of everyone, including Stacy, the hot assistant who works there. Blake is accused of leaking company secrets and is let go on the spot, all amid a surge in workplace stress and his boss gives Blake no time to defend himself and brutally kicks him to the curb. So now we have Blake's inner dialogue that goes from really high and mighty to low and defeated pretty quickly. Without a job, he spends a lot of time at the gym while Krista has to cover all the bills. The couple begins to stress pretty heavily about being able to afford their mortgage at the brownstone they live in, so they think of all kinds of different options to make the money that they need. Needing income to cover the mortgage, Krista persuades Blake to rent out their spare room. After interviewing oddball applicants, including a psychic who tells Krista that she thinks Blake will stab her and kill her one day, they select Whitney Cross to move in with them and help them pay the mortgage. A polite and attractive waitress seeming like the perfect tenant, as she comes with no real baggage that they can tell right away. Literally, she only has a few bags of things when she moves in. Blake makes comments in his inner dialogue about how Whitney's really pretty, but that he wouldn't make things weird. He's hesitant about bringing someone new into their home and space, but Krista is resistant and positive that this is a great way for them to cover their bills. So, now we move on to kind of like the second half of the book. Once Whitney moves in, things start out pretty fine. The three of them, Whitney, Blake, and Krista, all seem to get along. Blake and Krista even spend a nice evening together on the couch watching TV. Blake offers his things to Whitney, like his cereal and soap, being a nice guy and all. But soon, Blake's life unravels even more. Some seriously strange happenings start to begin. For example, he develops an irritated rash. Some of his expensive toiletries start to vanish. Fruit flies infest the kitchen. Rotten food appears in hidden cabinets. Mysterious nighttime noises echo through the house, and even their beloved goldfish Goldie dies. Each incident incrementally does Blake starts to question everything around him and starts to really kind of lose his control and cool over the situation because he blames Whitney, the tenant, for everything that's happening. He shows up to her work at the diner one day and tells her that she cannot use his things anymore since she seems to take advantage of this, and Whitney seems to be super annoyed at him and making him feel like a jerk for being this way. Whitney and Blake grow to seriously hate each other, and a huge chunk of the book is spent going back and forth between incidents that happen between the two of them that further show their disdain for one another. And Krista remains a middleman, always trying to talk Blake off the ledge and ensure him that Whitney isn't this evil girl that Blake thinks she is. However, tensions really rise when Krista discovers lipstick on Blake's clothes and bleach in his closet, which makes her think that Whitney and Blake are having an affair and Whitney killed their fish with the bleach on purpose. Makes her think that Blake is the one who killed the fish with the bleach on purpose. Blake swears that this is him being framed by Whitney, but Krista gradually distances herself from him because she thinks he's losing his mind. She ends up moving out of the house and going to stay with friends. Blake clashes with their really irritable neighbor named Mr. Zimmerly. Not long after Krista leaves, the neighbor is found bludgeoned to death in his home, and Blake becomes a primary suspect. The mounting evidence, compounded with his fragile emotional state, makes this situation pretty critical and is not a good look for Blake. So here is the book's big reveals. Blake ends up digging into Whitney's past, going to her family home, and learning that Whitney Cross isn't who she claims to be. The real Whitney disappeared years earlier after a tragic incident involving her ex who died, and Blake realizes something is desperately off. Upon visiting quote-unquote Whitney's mother, he discovers a photo that shows Whitney is actually Krista, his fiancée, operating under a false identity. Realizing he's been manipulated, Blake finally uncovers the truth. The truth is that his fiancée Krista is behind all of this. She's actually named Whitney Cross, and she went missing years ago after people around her started to die. Whitney, aka Krista, her mom, tells Blake to be aware of her daughter, that she's very dangerous and will stop at nothing to get revenge on a person that does her wrong. Blake starts to panic and realize that he's been poisoned by some cookies that Krista made for him when he went to visit her earlier to try to get her back. He drives back home to New York to confront her while almost dying on the way. The narrative shifts to Krista's perspective, unveiling her long-planned revenge. She has discovered Blake's infidelity and exploited Amanda, who is the Whitney Cross that lives in their home at the time. Amanda was a woman using Krista's old identity, Whitney, to infiltrate their home. So, the Whitney who was living in their home was actually a girl named Amanda who used Whitney's name to hide her identity and her true self. Amanda was a girl who owed a lot of scary people a lot of money, which is why she was hiding and then got that false identity. Krista orchestrated Whitney's tenant role, the domestic sabotage, and even Mr. Zimmerly's murder, aiming to frame Blake. Her calculated vendetta included pairing Whitney with an ally, a friend in love with Krista, and using the intense psychological warfare to strip Blake of everything he valued. So here is the climax and the aftermath of all of this dramatic tension. In a dramatic final confrontation, Blake returns home from finding out the truth, and he sees Amanda, a.k.a. the Whitney he thought was Whitney Cross, lying on the ground in a pool of blood. He confronts his fiancée, who tells him that she did all of this because she found that he cheated on her once with Stacy, the assistant who worked at his old job. So, Krista attempts to poison Blake and outright kill Amanda, the woman she duped. However, Amanda turns the tables, finally getting up off the ground while Blake and Krista are arguing and stabbing Krista, killing her. Blake's life is spared, albeit severely traumatized. Then we have the epilogue months later. Blake has relocated out of New York, runs his father's business in Cleveland, and forms an unlikely bond with Amanda. They capitalize on the scandals surrounding the murders, forging a strange new beginning together. Amanda's inner dialogue admits that she actually owed a lot of people money due to her gambling, and she ended up sleeping with Blake before he moved out, so they ended up not actually together. In the end, Amanda and Blake are free of the psycho killer Krista, aka the real Whitney Cross. That's it.
That's it.
Wow.
Psycho killer
Whitney.
Thank you for that. So just like Colby said, every episode, if you're new here, she always gives a summary, and then I always follow up with some discussion-based questions. You'll hear us say DBQs a lot.
DBQs. That might be the teacher in us a little bit. Like
making an acronym.
everything DQs, text-dependent questions.
Right. So
we have a lot of teaching trauma. TT?
TT. Again, TT, teaching trauma.
Yeah.
Which maybe one day we'll talk about it.
We'll divulge into that for sure.
So after Colby's summary, I always follow up with discussion-based questions. These just help guide our thoughts.
Yeah.
Because if not, we would be here for 5 hours talking
Just
about the color of Blake's shirt and what
Right.
it represents. So let's do that.
Let's do it.
In the beginning of the book, just like Colby said, we meet Blake Porter. He gets fired, and this propels the plot into he and his fiancee Krista opening their doors for a tenant because they need the extra income. What were your initial thoughts around this? And is this something that you would do?
No. I don't think I would just because you just, literally, this book proves to you do not fully know
No.
anybody, especially not a random girl to come and live inside of your house, like inside of your home. However, they were in like a really dire situation as far as finances go. So I think it might have been a smart decision, like an easy way to cover the mortgage because it's like a very low lift.
Right. I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't do it.
Hell no.
I don't think I would do it either.
No. I think I would rather ask family for some money and pay them back before I let a random stranger come live at my house.
Exactly. Even if she looks like nice little Whitney who was small
yeah.
and cute and she works at a diner.
Yeah. Not
No.
happening.
You never know who people are. The name borrowing.
Wow.
The name borrowing felt like a plot hole. How do you just, because Whitney, okay, Krista.
Yeah, because you took a killer's name.
Exactly. A person who's missing and under suspicion of murder.
Correct. Yeah, under suspicion of murder. Don't come for me.
No.
I misspoke.
Oh my God, God forbid. But it's true though. Well, I think, honestly though, she was a killer, and I think people thought she was a killer too. So
Well, I think she drove her high school boyfriend to kill himself.
Exactly. And
Right? Or
yeah.
did she kill him?
No, she drove him to kill himself.
Guys, sorry. We read this book 2 weeks ago. Please give me grace.
No, I know, and we always say this, but if we don't record the episode the day after we read the book, it'll lose our brain.
Let's not forget the drowning woman.
I forgot that entire book.
Y'all, go listen to that episode.
'Cause we're
it's actually comical.
We're
Yeah.
the characters,
They were really characters.
yeah, they were really doing things that characters do.
They were people in a book.
Okay, but Krista just randomly got the name Krista. We don't know where that came from. But Amanda using the identity of Whitney Cross, how did that not come up in a background check that the name Whitney Cross was a missing person? You know? But I mean, I guess Whitney Cross could be multiple people. Why does...
Was that talked about?
It wasn't really talked about. Here's my question. Why do you have to take an identity? Why not just make a whole new name? Why do you have to
Maybe
steal...
it's cheaper.
Maybe it's cheaper. Yeah, because obviously there's some type of illegal paperwork that has to be done
There's
here.
some black market things
Yeah.
happening.
There's people listening who probably know how this works. Let us know.
Please tell us.
If you want to get a new identity, how
We're
does it work?
just girls. We
We're
don't
just
know.
girls. So I agree with you. I would not let a stranger.
You know what else I did appreciate though? That the plot started right away. By chapter 3, shit was popping off.
That's what I love about Frieda. In
Thank
general.
you, Frieda. No world building. No. Sometimes I appreciate a good background on a character, but not for Blake and Krista.
Absolutely not. And that's why I appreciate a Frieda McFadden book so much because, like we said with the teacher, it's not this, I don't know, literary masterpiece where you get so many revelations, but it's a good popcorn thriller.
So good. And I think if you're a thriller reader like us, that's what you need.
Especially if you're in a reading slump, pick up a Frieda McFadden book. It'll get you out. Even if you don't love it by the end, it'll keep you wanting to read it.
Yeah, and I think this is probably not okay to say as book podcasters, but I have been in such a slump. In the month of June, I've already read 4 books.
Wow. So
That's a lot for me. I'm back, baby.
4 books in a month is huge.
And I'm standing on business because it's not even the end of the June yet.
Are y'all not clocking this?
Are you not clocking this?
She's standing on business.
At the beach.
No, reading slumps are so real. I think it's a completely valid thing to say. And honestly, pick up a Frieda McFadden book if you're in one. It'll get you out.
It'll get you out. I was in a 7-month hiatus. I was
Jeez,
really only reading the books that we were doing on the
For the
podcast.
Yeah, you weren't doing anything extra.
No extra, but
No.
we're back.
Love it.
So how did the book structure, such as the use of flashbacks or alternating perspectives, enhance or detract from the storytelling itself?
Good question.
For you.
I don't think it really detracted in any way. Sometimes I think it can, but because this is a Frieda book and it's so fast-paced, every chapter kept you wanting more, whether it was Blake's perspective. Well, we really didn't get Chris's perspective till the end of the book. So I don't think it detracted in any way. I liked the switching back and forth between.
I do too.
Yeah.
That was my only note, is that I kind of wish it did that the whole book. She did it the way she did.
You mean going like Blake, Krista? That would.
But I wish it would have started from the beginning that way.
Yeah, I would have liked that too.
I like that type of book the best.
Especially
You
when
know
it's
what-
like a husband-wife domestic thriller. Like getting
Yes.
both of their perspectives is always really interesting.
Love that. You know what else? This is just a note. I think this book did it for sure. When it does do multiple perspectives, it continues a scene. I don't necessarily like when it switches perspective and it retells a scene just from the different perspectives. Does that make sense?
Totally. That makes it, to me, also a book feel like it's dragging sometimes because it's like we've been here before. I don't know. It all, I guess, depends on the author and how
That's
well
true,
they can
and how they can
execute
do it.
Yeah. But I do like when it picks right back up. Like XYZ happened or ABC happened, we're on D now. Like we're just continuing down the line.
keep it moving.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Were there any moments in the book where you found yourself predicting what would happen next? Were your predictions accurate?
Honestly, no. I thought something was going to be up with Krista. She was just too perfect. Like the way Blake described her was just this beautiful fiance. She was so sweet. She made these amazing cookies, which, by the way, need to try one of her cookies. They sounded,
Give me her snickerdoodle.
her snickerdoodle sounded so good. Frieda McFadden did a great job at like describing the smells and like the 5 senses for her snickerdoodles. But I didn't see the twist coming. I didn't see Krista being Whitney, but I knew I had my eyes on Krista. I was like, there's something here. It was too obvious to be Whitney, the tenant, actually the one doing it. And I was thinking the whole time, okay, if it really is Whitney, aka Amanda, doing this, it's because like she knows something about Blake did her dirty at some point in her life.
Yes. My only prediction were that Krista, when she was still Krista, and Whitney,
When she was
actually Whitney, not Amanda.
yes.
I thought they were like in it together. And they were like, which I guess to an extent, kind of.
Towards the end, they were.
Towards the end, yeah. Kind of loosely.
And everything was kind of like, even though Amanda might have thought they were on the same page at the end, Krista was orchestrating it all. She
Yes.
never really was a girl's girl.
Right.
She was just straight up using Amanda in every way possible.
She's so nuts.
She was insane.
Like, girl, all of this.
For
Like, I get it. He cheated.
yeah,
With,
but you didn't have to murder
Stacey.
Mrs. Emily because your husband cheated on you.
He
though.
didn't need to catch that strike.
No, he really
Like,
didn't.
He literally was innocent in all this.
Yeah, and so was Amanda.
She's nuts.
She was crazy.
And like, honestly, like, she didn't have to chop Stacey's fingers off either.
She did not. Honestly, justice for Stacey. She didn't deserve that. And
J for S.
J for S. Another thing that Whitney did that was crazy was all the stuff with the maggots and the food. And like, you're that mad that you're gonna let food rot in your house just to get back at
You
your
are living
husband?
in that condition as well.
That's nasty.
Were there any unresolved questions in the book that left you thinking long after you finished reading?
I didn't have any unresolved questions, but I just felt like the ending was a little lackluster. Like it actually tied everything up in a pretty nice bow that I thought it was going to end with like a bang or something. Like,
It didn't.
Bang, Whitney's still alive, or like Chris is still. But no, so I didn't have any questions. It literally was all tied up. Blake ends up selling the brownstone. He gets money from their story. He moves in with, he moves to Cleveland, and Amanda ends up paying off all her debt and is like, haha.
Yeah, it was
So-
kind of like a happy ending.
Which is
So-
kind of rare for a Frieda book.
Well, then we'll just like tie these two together. So like
Okay.
unresolved questions, and then like how did the ending leave you feeling? And I think that you just kind of like answered that as well.
Yeah, I think so,
For
too.
me, like one of the things I just feel like, I think you just accept this with a Frieda book that it is going to be a little far fetched. Like the fish poison in the cookies was just like, what or whatever that poison was. It's something to do with a fish. I think
Well, and how did she get that? Because she said it was
from Elijah.
Yes. And how did he get that? Because I went and re-listened to the last couple chapters before I came here to kind of refresh my memory. And the fish thing, she was like, how do you feel, Blake? Because that's the poison from a pufferfish. Well, how the hell does one obtain poison from a pufferfish?
Oh my God, I can't.
The poison,
Pufferfish.
the poison from the puffer.
That's
fish
hard.
From PetSmart. That's alliteration. Poison from the pufferfish at PetSmart.
Say that 5 times fast. So like that was just like a lot for me. Also, that Krista hired all these people from like the acting school or whatever it was, the actors to come be
Wild. Wait,
except for the psychic lady. I think she was legit.
honestly, I thought there was gonna be more to that. Like the psychic lady
Yeah.
seemed like a big deal in the beginning and whatever. But another stray that was caught or that was thrown at the hands of Krista was her little friend. Was that Elijah
Yes.
that she murdered? Why'd she have to do that?
And
First
he
of
was
all,
in love with her.
she had sex with him and then killed him. She was like,
After I have sex with a man, I ripped their heads.
literally,
JWoww.
Krista. She rips it. She introduced her inner JWoww for sure because
Yeah.
she literally hopped off of him and was like, slit his throat.
Slice.
Why'd you have to do that? And then she's like, I didn't feel that bad. At least he died happy. How do you know?
First of all, because he had sex with you.
Right. Like, geez.
Girl, take it down a few.
Calm it down, sis.
Calm it down.
She's got this like golden vagina. She's like, you're welcome.
The GP. That's
Yeah.
what that's called.
Yeah.
The golden poon.
The golden poon. I mean, like, good for her for being so confident, but that was fucked up. He deserved way more
that was
than
fucked.
He didn't even know it was coming.
Oh my
Literally.
God. But you know, I was glad that Blake went home to help his dad because he was kind of a douche to his dad. Like, poor dad's like, hi, hon. Like, can you please come help out at the store?
It's like, fuck you, Dad.
He's like, I don't want that life.
Wait, do we have a question about Blake at all? Because I want to make a comment about Blake.
No, you can make it.
Okay. Did he deserve everything that happened to him? No. But was he an asshole? Like, yes.
Yeah.
Like, at least in the first half of the book, I was like, he sounds kind of like the worst.
But he was given that, like, corporate frat boy. Like, he was in a fraternity in college, and then he, like...
Finance
was
bro.
Finance bro.
He was such a finance bro.
He wore, like, I see him. Like, I can see his outfit. Almost like Jet from Pookie and Jet.
Exactly. But I picture him a little bit taller, more lean, like really dark features. Is that how you picture
Yes. Yeah, like he doesn't look like Jet. He dresses like Jet.
Blake? Dresses like Jet 100%. And he has that attitude that one thing I did predict too from his dialogue was in the beginning when he made the comment about the assistant Stacy's skirt. I was like,
We knew it.
You're a dog. Dog.
We knew it.
He was like, and I even got fired in front of Stacy when she's wearing that mini skirt. And I was like,
what?
that's what you care about, bro?
Not the miniskirt. Also, Stacy, like, you can wear a miniskirt to work? Like, slay.
Slay. She was Stacy. I pictured her walking around like literally Margot Robbie in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes,
Like mini skirt with her little pin. She's got like a little beauty mark right
like,
there.
she's hot.
Stacy's hot.
Stacy's hot.
I don't blame Krista for being like,
that bitch.
That
Chop
bitch.
those fingers off.
wait, did she like pretended to be an Uber driver? I'm like, all right, all that was kind of fair until she killed her.
Until she killed her. Like, taking her to dinner and then, like...
Question her in the Uber, like, so have you ever slept with a married guy? Like, okay, fair play,
And
Krista.
then Stacy's like, actually, yeah, this guy from work, VP.
She's like, he was so hot, but like he cared about his wife. Ew.
Ew, how dare he, like, care? We did it on his desk.
And then she's like, the whole time, she's like, taking her. Yeah, she's like,
Head spins.
what did you just say? Yeah, Krista was fucking nuts. And anyway, Blake like overreacting about Whitney eating his cereal and using his soap. Like, you're an asshole.
You're an asshole.
You're crazy.
But I did find that I liked him.
I liked him too. I rooted for him.
And despite the flaws.
Yeah, I rooted for him.
I really did.
He was like just a typical dumbass guy. Like, sometimes men are just dumb. And like, he was just dumb.
He was just dumb.
Like, Blake, I'm getting all their names like twisted at this point, but Blake is begging for his life from Krista. He's like, I loved you. Like, you don't have to do all this. Like, I believed in that he loved her. She's like, too bad. You're toast.
You must die. No, I believe him too. I do think he loved her.
Yeah.
I think Krista loved him. Whitney.
Yeah.
Krista Whitney loved him too.
I think so too.
But she just could not.
She couldn't hide her crazy.
Couldn't have. I mean,
She
to the
couldn't-
fullest extent.
she couldn't keep it
possible.
in.
She was like, kill, kill, kill.
Yeah. The Mr. Zimmerly, like, so unnecessary.
Okay. Can we talk about something else?
Yes.
Does Frieda use AI to write her books? We might get banned for this.
We might get banned from this, and Frieda, we still love you. Obviously,
Oh, we will never stop reading your books.
I'll never stop reading them. They're so good. But there's a couple questions here. How are you turning them out so fast? Yeah, I understand she's probably under contract with Kindle Unlimited, and she's got like, and I think I mentioned this to you, and you said even like, what was it that you heard?
That they're backlogged.
They're
Like,
backlogged.
these have been written.
And that's very possible too. But it just seems a little bit, like for lack of a better term, it does seem like it might be written by like a code.
A little bit.
A prompt.
A prompt. But also, it's 2025. We're not judging. We just want to know.
We're
What's the formula?
We're evolving with the times. What's the formula? Like,
What
is
do you-
it just a crutch? Is it assistance? I
Does
think
it
about
give you
this-
ideas?
Exactly. I think about this a lot. Do you put in a prompt and it spits out names for you to go off of? Like, surely, right? Even before AI, like, I'm sure authors have some type of assistance with coming up with different plot points and names and
Yeah.
characters, or do they do it
I'm
all
sure
their
they have
own?
a team. Some people have to have a team, right?
Right.
Or a ghost writer.
I know. I can't wait to talk about that because that's a whole other thing. But as far as AI goes, what do y'all think? Is Frieda McFadden using AI to write
Let
some
us
of her
know.
books?
Frieda, let us know. Because I feel like Frieda talks to us sometimes.
Frieda's our
y'all.
girl.
Frieda talks to us sometimes.
Frieda
So we wanna
shared our
know.
very first episode that we ever did on one of her books, which was
Yep.
Never Lie.
Never lie.
Fire book. I want to say this too. To me, there's a bit of a difference between Never Lie and the very first Housemaid and her later books, like The Teacher and this one. Never Lie, I felt like I heard her voice a little bit
You're
more.
so right.
Do you get what I'm
You're
saying?
so right. And now I'm like, wait, this kind of like fires me up a little because
There's a difference there.
the characters were more developed.
That's what
too.
it is. And it was a little just less, like the dialogue was just a little less obvious. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It just felt more raw.
And they were more like crumbs for us to try to piece it together.
Yes, and this one was
Small
just
crumbs,
This
like-
was like plot twist, plot twist. Where Never
Yes.
Lie, everything was like that took a lot of thought.
Like, remember there was like the one scene in the book where she's the I can't remember her name, but she's looking through the records.
Yes.
And there's like an initial, and we thought it was another person, but really it was.
and then you find out the big
so
reveal
good.
because of the initials of the name. That was
that was a good book.
yeah.
I want to read it again.
Yeah. So now I'm like, I think back to those. I'm like, those seemed more personally developed.
But
It was that last
had to be
Housemaid book that I
discussed.
think kind of catapulted me into being like, is this AI?
hot take, I really hated that book.
That book was terrible.
It was really bad.
but that first Housemaid book, like,
so good.
amazing. I'm gonna reread it before the movie. So just food for thought.
Yeah,
like, think
food for
about it.
thought.
Let us know what y'all think.
So where does this fall on the Frieda meter?
I love that.
For
Frieda
me,
meter,
the
Frieda
Frieda
reader.
meter. Frieda reader, Frieda meter. For me, I gave it a 4 stars. Like, that's pretty average for me.
I
It was a
agree.
good book. I liked it.
I would give it 4 stars,
Yeah,
but
it
I
was-
thoroughly enjoyed my time with it.
Yep, I liked it. It was a good read,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd recommend it. So 5 stars. Let's hear from these people from Goodreads. I really enjoyed this one. He loses his job, so his fiance and him have to get a tenant to help them pay the bills. Outrageous stuff starts happening from there, including some murders. Without giving it away, even though, side note,
We just gave
we've
the book
already
away.
given it all away. I was a little suspicious of a certain person who ended up being horrible, but I kept going back and forth about it. So this book definitely kept up the suspense. This one was great in my opinion. Very fast-paced, wild stuff kept happening. The ending almost seemed like there could have been a sequel where we would see some of these characters again. That's a 5 star.
Honestly, yeah. Like, I could see Whitney. I'd like to follow Whitney and Blake again.
Yeah.
I liked both of their characters. I really liked Blake. So I'd like
I
to
did
follow
too.
him.
1 star. The fish was the only normal character.
The poor fish.
J for G.
The funeral for the fish was so extreme, by the way.
So, yeah, I think that's our analysis of the book.
Yeah, The Tenant by Frieda McFadden. Let us know what you guys thought. Did you fall somewhere in the middle? Did you agree with us on our DBQs?
Yeah, talk with us, please.
Yeah.
So let's talk about our next on the shelf. Our next on the shelf, again, because now that we're just kind of like reintroducing all the bits that we do.
Yeah.
Next on the shelf is essentially just the next book we're reading, and next on the shelf is just a way cuter way to say it.
Right.
So we are going to read The Ghost Writer by Julie Clark. June 1975. The Taylor family shatters in a single night when 2 teenage siblings are found dead in their own home. The only surviving sibling, Vincent, never shakes the whispers and accusations that he was the one who killed them. Decades later, the legend only grows as his career as a horror writer skyrockets. Ghostwriter Olivia Dumont has spent her entire professional life hiding the fact that she is the only child of Vincent Taylor. Now, on the brink of financial ruin, she's offered a job to ghostwrite her father's last book. What she doesn't know, though, is that this project is another one of his lies, because it's not another horror novel that he wants her to write. After 50 years of silence, Vincent Taylor is finally ready to talk about what really happened that night in 1975.
Amazing. Already.
So good.
Just so like to give you guys even more of like a push to read it. I've started this and so is Amber, and I am eating it up. It's gearing up to be one of my favorite books of 2025 so far that we've read.
It's
already.
Oh, hands down.
Yeah. I'm so glad
it's
we
so
chose
good.
it. So please read this one
good.
with us.
Read with us, please.
Okay, I think that's it.
I think that's everything.
Thank you all so much for listening. Don't forget to follow us on socials because you know we're going to do another Kindle giveaway. We love you so much. Instagram is Open Books Podcast. TikTok is
How
the
the
Open
girlies
Books
do it now?
Podcast. Let's do it like this. Tink. 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 Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.